Hey guys, welcome to our Week 12 Thanksgiving edition of our Bets Best video for Week 12 of the 2023 NFL football season. So we'll be looking at the Thanksgiving Day games. We have 3 of them, as well as our only Black Friday game that we have going on. Like I said, for Week 12 of the 2023 NFL football season, we'll be looking at the spreads, money lines, and the over-unders for each of these games, seeing who's going to win, who's going to lose, and what we predict the final outcome will be. So let's get started. Kicking things off Thanksgiving really early, 12:30 p.m. on Fox. We have the Green Bay Packers at 4-6 at the Detroit Lions sitting at 8-2. Detroit is 8-point favorites here, and the over-under is 47.5 points. This game is probably going to be freezing. Temperatures could be 40 to 50 degrees as of right now. Looking at the team stats that we have here for each of these teams, we have Green Bay coming in. So Jordan Love has actually been playing pretty decent for the last 3 to 4 weeks. He has been throwing the ball pretty well, not throwing very many picks. Now, he's not having a good season, but as of this point, he is now having an average season. But they do average 20.2 points per game, and their defense gives up 20.2 points per game. For the Detroit Lions, at one point, they had a top 5 offense, and they had a top 5 defense. But for the last about 3 to 4 weeks, their defense has been giving up some points. So they definitely dropped in that category. But they still do have a top 10 offense. They average 27.2 points per game, and their defense gives up 22.9 points per game. So that's not bad, but it's just kind of average right now on the defensive side of the ball. But as we said before, the Lions are the favorites here. Looking at the quarterback matchups we have Jordan Travis. He's coming into this game, closing in on 2,400 yards. He has 16 touchdowns, 10 picks, and then you have Goff having a very strong year, closing in on 2,800 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 8 picks. So not too far off from Love, but he is definitely having the better season. And the Lions do have the way better team here. They have Goff, they have Montgomery at running back, and they have Brown at wide receiver, closing in on 1,000 yards. On paper, this definitely favors the Lions to be getting the win here. They are the better team on both sides of the ball, as well as special teams, but the Packers actually have a pretty decent run game. So they're going to try to force Goff to beat them through the air. Things should be pretty cold, so there might be some problems there. Packers don't necessarily have a good run game, so they will be going up against a pretty decent Lions rush defense. But I nonetheless have the Lions winning this game 27-20. I think that they'll win a 27-20, 27-23 area, but they will get the win. I am going with the under, and I do not have them covering the spread just because the Lions, they are 8-2. But like I said, for the last couple of weeks, they haven't been playing that well. So they're still one of the better teams so far this year, but they're kind of on a downtrend right now. The next game that we have, of course, on Thanksgiving in the 4:30 p.m. slot on CBS, we have the 4-7 Washington Commanders versus the 7-3 Dallas Cowboys. So Dallas comes into this game as 13.5-point favorites here. That's a pretty big spread, and the over-under is 48.5. So for the Commanders, Ron Rivera will probably be getting fired at some point this year or at the very end of the season. So that's pretty much a given right now. He hasn't done anything to solidify that job. They have a horrible defense. That's his specialty. He's not getting the job done there. But they actually have a pretty good offense led by Sam Howell. For the Cowboys, since they got curb stomped by the 49ers, they've actually been playing pretty decent. So they're not really running the ball that much with Pollard. So he was basically their main weapon for the first 3 to 4 games. Then they got the crap kicked out of them by the 49ers. And since then, they've actually been a pass-heavy team. But Dak Prescott has actually been playing pretty well for the last 4 to 5 weeks. So prop there. CeeDee Lamb has been going off, leads the NFL in receiving yards for the last 4 weeks. This guy has over 1,000 yards. A lot of those come in the last 4 weeks. But like we said, Dallas in this game, 13.5-point favorites here. When you look at the total team stats here, this game is heavily favored in Dallas's favor, who has one of the best overall rosters in the NFL. But Washington, they average 21.5 points per game. Dallas, they average a whopping 30.2 points per game. And Washington's defense is horrible. They give up 27.7 points per game, and the Dallas Cowboys defense, which is top 5, gives up 17.5 points per game. So like we said, Dallas has a top 5 offense. They have a top 5 defense. So the roster definitely favors them. They have the better weapons. They have Dak Prescott. They have Pollard. They have CeeDee Lamb. but do not underestimate Sam Howell. So he's actually having a pretty decent year. Now, he is the most sacked, most pressured, most hit quarterback. So the Cowboys D-line is going to be getting after him. They're going to be hitting him, and they're going to be hitting him a lot. But he's still having a good year, closing in on 3,100 yards, 18 touchdowns, 12 picks. They're going to force 1 to 2 picks this week. Then you have Dak Prescott, 2,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 6 picks. I have the Cowboys getting the win here. Now, they should not lose this game. They are the far better team. And Washington, Ron Rivera on the way out. They have nothing to lose. He might want to save his job, but they don't have the defense to force the Cowboys into a shootout. And you have to be able to score on that tough Dallas Cowboys defense. I have Dallas winning this game 34-17. So we have the Cowboys winning, covering the spread, and I'm also going with the over here. And then closing out Thanksgiving night, a really good one here at 8:20 p.m. on NBC. The 7-3 San Francisco 49ers versus the 6-4 Seattle Seahawks. The 49ers come into this game as 7-point favorites here, and the over-under is 44.5. So when you look at the 49ers, just like the Cowboys, they're top 5 offense, top 5 defense. But the 49ers, hands down, they have the best roster. They have the best defensive roster. They have the best offensive roster. They are loaded with weapons on both sides of the ball. For Brock Purdy, he just has to not do anything to lose the game. Do not try to win the game. Don't do too much. Don't try to win the game. Rely on the running game. When you're in pass situations, you have Ayuk, you have Kittle, you have Debo. Lots of weapons there. Just get the playmakers the ball in space. For the Seahawks, they sit at 6-4. This is actually a pretty decent Seahawks team. They're a very efficient team. They play pretty good offense. They play pretty decent defense. Geno Smith, he has been banged up for the last week. He has been given the green light to start this game, so he will be starting. He's in no way having the year that he had last year. He's not having a bad year. He's just kind of having an average year. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just serviceable so far. But they will be without Walker. That's a massive loss. So Geno Smith will be forced to have to throw the ball through the air, and that will definitely favor the 49ers because they get after the quarterback. So he will not have much time to throw the ball. Looking at the team stats here, San Francisco, they come in averaging 27.9 points per game. Seattle, they average 21.6 points per game. And on the defensive side of the ball, San Francisco comes in only giving up 15.7 points per game. That's crazy good. And Seattle gives up 21.8 points per game, which is average. So you definitely see why the 49ers are the favorite team here. They are on the road, but they will be coming to play, and defense always travel. Due to Seattle potentially having some issues running the ball, being forced to rely on that passing game, that, like I said, favors the 49ers heavily here. So I have San Francisco getting an easy win, 31-17. They will cover the spread, and I'm also going with the over as well. So that closes out the Thanksgiving games. Now, next we have a Black Friday game. That's pretty awkward to say that, but a game on Black Friday at 3 p.m. on Prime. We have the 7-3 Miami Dolphins coming off of a drubbing of the Raiders versus the 4-6 New York Jets, who are leaderless right now at quarterback. Miami 9.5-point favorites here, so that spread has come down so far. Over-under is 40.5 points. When you look at the Dolphins, their offensive roster is loaded. Tua, roster, Arcane, Berrios, Waddle, Hill, the list goes on. They can run it, they can throw it, they lead the league in passing, they lead the league in running, they lead the league in scoring. They can get after it. Do not underestimate the Jets, though, because the Jets have a very good defensive front. They get after the quarterback. Tua will not have much time to throw the ball, but he leads the NFL in holding the ball the least amount of times. I think it's like 1.3 seconds and he gets the ball out. So it's pretty hard to hit him when they throw so many slants and dump-offs. He gets rid of the ball super fast. That keeps him from getting hit. That keeps him from getting concussions. That's the main concern there. For the Jets also, obviously Rodgers is out, or we would have had a Tua-Rodgers matchup. That would have been pretty cool for Black Friday. He's out. Zach Wilson did get benched. So as of right now, it stands that it's going to be Boyle starting for the Jets. So they're down to their third string quarterback, whether it's Wilson. No matter what, it'll be the second or the third string guy playing versus the highest scoring team in the NFL. That doesn't really suit up well, so the Jets are only hoping that their defense can try to keep this game close, but they couldn't score with their number 2. So what do they think they're going to do with the number 3 that the number 2 beat out for the number 2 position? I don't think things look very good there. But for Miami, they come in, they average 30.5 points per game. The Jets, they average a measly 15.0 points per game. That's with Wilson. Now they have Boyle coming in. The Miami defense is just somewhat average to below average. They give up 23.8 points per game. The Jets, they give up 20.4 points per game. They're better than that. It's just the offense can't get first down, so the defense is on the field the entire game. Looking at the quarterback matchups here, you have Tua closing in on 3,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 8 picks. Boyle, 33 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. Obviously, things are heavily favored for the Miami Dolphins. This is a Black Friday game. It is a short week, so anything can happen on Black Friday. Usually it's Thursday night, Sunday, Monday. Now we have a game on Friday, so you never know what's going to happen. But I have the Miami Dolphins cruising to the win here. They're going to win 28-13. So I have them covering that spread, and I have them going with the over as well. So that's my breakdown of our Thanksgiving best bets, the money lines, over-unders, and the spreads. We will have the Sunday best bets video coming out later this week. Hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks.